And good evening once again. This is Ted Hicks from Late Night Parents. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com. And to my left is Richie V.
We'll just do a nice mellow, get them ready on the dials. Teddy Ted!
What's going on? How was Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was wonderful. Spent it with friends and family. Had a good time. Didn't eat too much. Didn't put myself into that tryptophan coma. Just did it up, did it right. Had a good time. How was yours?
Pretty good. Did you cook?
No.
I did not cook either. But I will tell you what I did this year, which was different than any other year.
Uh-oh. What did you do?
Purchased a pre-seasoned turkey.
I'm making the face right now.
Pre-seasoned, pre-cooked turkey.
Just heat it up and
go.
And carve and go.
And go.
All right, so how was it?
Extremely, extremely delicious.
All right,
I was shocked.
Then, do you want to name where you purchased it from?
I will not name where I purchased it from.
Okay.
But Stop and Shop had some great pre-cooked turkeys, and it was just amazing.
That's good to know. Good to hear. I'm sure the good Mrs. Hicks was very happy that she didn't have to do the baking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was great. It really was. Hey, we want to let you know that we want to thank the listeners in the U.S., and the UK, and Canada that support Late Night Parents. Our home station is 1240 AM WGBB, Long Island, New York. Happy to be here with the best engineer in the world,
Brian. I got you on that one. What's going on, man?
It's good to have him here. My son is in the green room. You didn't know that was the green room.
That's the green room?
That's the green room.
That's the green room.
That's the green room. I
should have known this all along.
I mean, I could have said the mildew room.
No, it's the green room.
Nah, it's the green room. But yeah, it's a lot has happened. A lot of good things have happened. It's great just being here.
John. It's great being here. It's
great being here. Week. Yeah, because I gave, instead of saying our new friend John Barrera is in the queue, I think I gave Brian the wrong name. I think I might have said Ronald or something like that. Because we're setting up right now, believe it or not, our new studio in a box.
Attempting.
So
is it recording what we're doing right now?
It's streaming live on YouTube.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm going to go to the YouTube page right now.
It's streaming live right now
and on YouTube. I want to see what it looks like.
I mean, it's great. It's, exactly what you wanted. It's, I don't know.
Well, once we get the audio issues ironed out, so right now it's recording the live audio from within the room.
Yeah, it's recording from within the room. We're connected on the wireless here in the studio. We're not streaming at 1080. We're streaming at 720, but happy to be here as always. Like I said, always trying out something new, trying to enhance the show to our viewers and our listeners from abroad. Now, if I can give you the exact link on what we're streaming on, that'd be something else. But I want to tell you this much. So, it was a short work week. We're always working, always, meeting people and everything else like that.
Yep.
And I ran into, virtually, Lindsley Donnelly, my good friend from SmartFeed. She had a great Indiegogo product that went live, I would say, about 6 or 8 months ago.
Okay.
And it's basically curates what your child watches online.
All right.
And not only does it do that, but it would then take it and you could share that kind of like that playlist out.
Right.
Here's the videos that they're watching. Here's some of the books that they're reading. Here's books, videos, movies.
Okay.
Just, items that are age appropriate.
Right.
So we did some good work. I think I'm going to say 6 to 9 months ago, but I'm going to think it was even longer than that. I think when we was just doing a podcast, we had Lindsley come in for a segment. But she introduced me this past week to Mr. John Barrera, who has a tool that's going to be, well, it might not be interesting to us because we're IT,
right?
But it's going to be interesting to parents because it's a certain type of tool that will help you kind of manage what your kid does, watch, all the above. Kind of manage the screen time.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's something that's needed because, these days, of course, a lot of parents seem to forget that when they get their child a phone, they're just giving them full, unfettered access to the entire world through the internet. And everything that it offers, for good or bad, they can see. So therefore, yeah, it makes sense to provide something by which, as a parent, you can monitor and keep an eye on what they're doing online. Well, I guess we'll speak to them in a few minutes and get more details about, devices that it supports and mobile versus computer versus, what. So it'll be good to hear about this.
Yeah, so I guess right now in the queue, we'll introduce Mr. John Barrera. He's an entrepreneur. I like to think we're all entrepreneurs nowadays. You're not getting stuck into your usual 9 to 5, but he's built a product that hopefully fits well into our audience because we have nothing but parents that are, I guess they have those questions out there. What are my kids watching? What are my kids doing? Mm-hmm. Hey, I told my son or my daughter to get off the internet, and I'm not sure if they're on or off.
Right.
Without actually taking the device. So without further ado, John, how you doing?
Hey, Ted. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking a few minutes out. We also have Rich Valdez in the studio. So, John, Rich, John.
John, how are you? Good to meet you.
Rich, it's a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
So, I guess before we get started, John, tell us about Ri-Fi.
So, Ri-Fi is named after my son, Ryan. So instead of a Wi-Fi, I named it like a kid's Wi-Fi network. So we call it Ri-Fi. That's the origin of the name. The origin of the issue or origin of the problem is the American Association of Pediatrics have come out with guidelines where kids should not have more than 2 hours of what they call sedentary screen time a day. And if you notice how screen time can add up very quickly, right? So just 4 quick 30-minute shows and your 2 hours are up. And then if they're anything like my kids, they want to watch YouTube on the iPad, they want to watch Xbox. Mm-hmm. The typical case that I come across is where my son Ryan he loves his Overwatch on Xbox.
Yep.
I want to, my wife and I want to have quality family time at 6:30 or so. So at 6 o'clock, I'll go to Ryan and say, hey, Ryan, 30 minutes. Let's have dinner, and, he has 2 other siblings. Let's have dinner with all of us as a family. And my wife and I are busy getting dinner prepared or doing what we need to do. And then 45 minutes later, we'll come by, and he'll say, oh, but, Dad, there's a boss I need to kill at this level. It's not quite done yet, blah, blah, blah. So that's where the origin of this product comes from, where parents are busy enough as it is, and they just need some very simple tools to help them manage the what I call screen time consumption. And kids, they need to unplug and play outside a little bit. They need to strike the right balance, and that's how we're approaching it. And so at the end of the day, Wi-Fi is effectively a parental router. It is the simplest way to set up a kid-friendly network, and parents have at their disposal an app that can pause it, or you can even text a router. That's kind of a cool feature we have, where you can just tell it to shut off. And so you don't have to go fumble for another app. You can just tell Wi-Fi, turn off, please, and it will just turn off. And so that's what Wi-Fi is. That's how we're approaching this very, very critical problem in modern families these days.
All right, so John, tell you what, give me a little more detail about the setup and configuration on the device. Does this work concurrently with your existing router? Is it a router replacement? How does it work, and how's that configuration?
No, that's a very good point. So it is meant to be. It's effectively exclusively a wireless access point, and it's using OpenWRT, and we're not using, just to get a little technical, we're not using any ARP spoofing filtering technologies, where that has been known to destabilize networks. I've been working in researching this product for a while now, and I'll get calls from parents that have some parental filtering router in place, and their networks have shut down, right? Because for whatever reason, the ARP spoofing stuff is kind of destabilizing things, and they'll just unplug it and throw it out. And I don't want parents to throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? There's a very, very critical need to manage the screen time. Filtering also is very important, but we're not addressing that with this product because we're a little far away from a really solid solution on filtering. And I wanted to put a product out so that parents can feel like, I can just set this up. All you have to do is just plug it into your Comcast or your AT&T or any of your modem with an available Ethernet port, plug in the power, and it's done, right? So it'll broadcast a kid's Wi-Fi network or SSID, and you attach all your kids' stuff to that. So my kids' Xbox is attached to it, their iPads, and so they know that there's no negotiating with a router, right? That router's not going to talk back to you. It's just going to shut off after we said you have 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes. Right? So, and there's scheduling, too. I've talked to some really hardworking moms that are working graveyard shifts, and they say they'll come home late, and their kids are on their iPads at bed, and they'll wake up really, like, frazzled in the morning because they're watching endless YouTube time, and they just lose control. And so with Wi-Fi, you just set up a schedule. Like, right now, there's no need for my kids to be online from 10 p.m. to 6 in the morning. There's just no need. They need to be sleeping, right? Mm-hmm. And so the Wi-Fi just shuts off. And then I don't have to worry about reprogramming my Nest or my Ring or Vonage or anything like that because it's just the kids' network and it just works.
I got to tell you this, John. So we are IT professionals by trade. So without even having a product like yours, I would have to dig into the router and set permissions and identify my son's devices that I want turned off at 9:30 and I don't want turned on until 9 o'clock a.m. on the weekends. So I'm going to tell you this, just from the sound of it, without even having it before our eyes, really, really helpful for the not so technical parents.
That's who I designed it for. My wife is the ideal target market where maybe a year ago she was still calling Wi-Fi Wi-Fi. She's like, what's this Wi-Fi? She has no idea about technology, so I designed it to say, hey, look, you just plug in these two cables, install the app, and it goes, right? And because the nice thing, Ted and Rich, because you guys are professionals, like when you just have one SSID and you attach all the kids' stuff to that SSID, there's no filtering. Right. You don't have to worry about any of the other connected home devices, right? The modern home has so many connected devices, and if that goes down, then security goes down. You lose a whole bunch of other stuff. So we wanted to keep this kind of an adjunct network and make it very simple, right? My brother's an IT professional, just like you guys are, and he deals with all of the same issues that you're bringing up. Where the last thing I want to do is to have a technophobic soccer mom or dad log into 192.168 blah 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 and put in admin, right? I don't want them to do that. Yep. I just want plug and go. That's all I want them to do, and that's where we want to be. Kind of at the end of the day, we're going to be kind of the Fitbit to your Wi-Fi consumption, right? So you manage your calorie expenditures. Why not monitor what you're doing on the internet and help bridge the gap for a lot of the parents where the kids they're very, very technically adept, right? My son was trying to hack my Apple account at 5, right? He was just guessing passwords. I think you probably had the same thing with your kids, right? They're very, very adept.
Correct.
And a lot of technophobic parents are very intimidated. And so we wanted to put something out there that kind of levels the playing field a little bit,
So is the device based upon a subscription service model, or is it, once you've purchased it, you go online and you're off and running?
So the services that we're offering on Indiegogo are free for life with the product. We are looking at other features that we can potentially add on. one of the things that's very interesting to us is looking at things like the home economy, where we can attach chores and homework and potentially, and so if you get your homework done on time, or let's say that we have a goal that you need to have over a 3.5 grade point average, if you do that, you can say, oh, you went from 30 minutes a day to 45, right, or something along those lines. We're the only parental product out there that is attaching screen time and the kids' accomplishments at the same time, so that there's not this, Augustus Gloop in the candy store just consuming endless amounts of sugar or screen time, which is the same thing to us, right? So there's some level of normalcy there, and that's where we're looking in terms of broadening out where parents can go. And if we go deeper into that area, we would potentially look at add-on services. But what I just described, where you can just plug the router in, the app in, and SMS it, all that's free for the life of the product.
Nice.
So, John, for a lot of our young children, once they hit maybe 10 years old or 11 years old, the parents nowadays are providing them with mobile phones. So my question to you is, yes, your device works, or this version of the device works for, if they're tied into a Wi-Fi access point. But what if they're connected? Does it do anything for connected cellular networks? Or can you configure it so that it can limit a cellular network in the home?
So we are the current product as is strictly for Wi-Fi. The holy grail is to lock down cellular.
Okay.
I know there's other products out there that are using DNS technology. The current product does not have that in place. That being said, we're looking at ways of managing that. The way we want to position the product is, especially if you have younger kids and you can train them, if you will, to honor these schedules, that
right.
When there's like a cliff at 11 or 12 where they're getting cell phones, and if you don't have that training, that discussion, you're going to have a real hard time. You're going to get real surprised at what kids are going to be doing if you're not looking in on it. So
John,
that's a very good point.
John, I have to jump in and say, what you really want to say is it's going to be chaos if you haven't trained your 10 or 11-year-old and you've given them a mobile phone that's connected to a cellular network,
right,
that's totally untethered to, what mom and dad are doing.
You are 100% correct. Just an additional tip for your parents out there, I don't have the kids bring screens into their beds at night. I want everything that they're browsing to be exposed in public areas. So
Gotcha.
My son's desk is right next to mine, so I just look over and see what he's doing. And mobile devices should be in common areas so that parents can just pick it up and see what text messages are flying in and out. So that's going to work for, when they're in high school. After that, they're going to start pushing back. But there's just this really, it's a struggle with the modern technologies these days. And that's why I created this company, is to kind of bridge the gap, to give parents a fighting chance at having some normalcy.
So you've mentioned a few of the current features and some of the features you're looking at going towards in the future. What else do you have planned for the product?
So that's where we're really looking towards our first group of parents to have conversations with us. We do know that a lot of what's going on in the home, they just need a helping hand with it. And so we really want to make sure that parents have at least a control of the screen time. And the areas, like I said, that we're looking into is kind of tethering this into homework and chores. We know there's a lot of popular chore apps out there, and if we can kind of tether this together with kind of a Fitbit type approach, I think we're going to really help parents out a bunch. And then we're also, from there, we're going to look into other potential solutions for cellular and that kind of thing, but that's a little bit down the product roadmap.
Gotcha. So, for those parents that we have out there who are listening and those who hear us later on, what are the best ways for them to find out more about your product?
So, our website is ryfi.co. That's ryfi.co. You can go there for everything. And then we also provided, Ted, your audience with a very, very special secret perk for our Indiegogo campaign. So you can search on, I've provided that link to you. You can tweet it out, or I can put it on our Twitter page, whatever, so that your audience can take a look at it and back us on our Indiegogo campaign, which is ending in a couple of short weeks.
You got it.
But it's a very, very aggressive price, and we really want to hear from early adopting parents, what are their pain points. We've done hundreds of hours of what we call research with whole food moms and whole food dads, and they spoke loud and clear about their needs, but I really want to hear from folks that are in your audience. That would be very helpful for us. And so we're very appreciative of this opportunity, Ted and Rich.
You got it. You send this. You probably sent me the link already in our email correspondence. So I will definitely tweet it out. Rich will tweet it out, and we'll get the word out. And,
thank you, gentlemen.
And definitely want you to come back, I guess, in the new year when the product is out and it's available, so that we can kick the tires on it and tell you how we really feel about it.
Absolutely. I'm actually you're on a short list of getting demo units, you and Rich. So I'm going to have that out to you in January. So look forward to that, if not sooner.
Awesome.
You got it. John, thanks so much. Best ways, as Rich said, best ways for us to find out your product. Plug your website one more time.
It's ryfi.co. That's ryfi.co. Or look for Ri-Fi on the Indiegogo page, or look for us on Twitter. So we're currently following you. We're at Rybot Kids, and you can get or you can look for us on Facebook. We're there too. So we're all over the place.
You got it.
Awesome.
You got it. The interview will be up shortly, and thanks so much,
John. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You do okay.
Take care
now. Interesting product. There's a slight little bit of an aha moment there. It's like, okay, why try to break what's in the house when you can just set up another Wi-Fi for them? That's a manageable Wi-Fi.
Right.
So every parent that gets it has to remember one thing: change your existing Wi-Fi password so the kid's device doesn't connect to it.
It has to. Oh my goodness! I don't know how many times I tell this story that I'm in different chat rooms during the week, and I'm talking with my buddies, and I'm like, "Listen, guys, change your default password,
Right.
because if I'm driving past your home, I can tunnel right in."
Right. And remember, change it so that your kids can't get to it as well afterwards.
Come on.
You want to limit their access? Change the password.
I kind of go back to one of my favorite shows, Persons of Interest.
Good show.
No longer on right now.
No, good show, though.
I thought it ended a season too early.
I wasn't an active follower. I watched a few episodes, though.
Oh, okay. So I watched all 5.5 seasons.
Okay. All right.
Because that last season was only like 10 episodes or 12 episodes. They kind of did a truncated, so I don't give it the full 6.
Right.
So Finch he needed to tunnel into someone's Wi-Fi, and he's just there pulling up. He was like, "Okay, let me pull up the manufacturer router for this location." Okay,
Default password.
let me put in the default, tunneled right in.
I think I've told you this story before, but I have a very, very similar story. This was about 10 years ago. And one of my own clients, who I hadn't been to their home before, and this was a medical practice, hadn't been to their home before, gave me the address. I got there about 15 minutes early. I'm like, I need wireless access. Let me go see what's available in the neighborhood.
Yes.
A Wi-Fi network pops up. I'm like, let me connect to it. Connected. They didn't even have security set up. Connected right in.
That's scary.
Then I got worried. I said, I hope this isn't my client. Let me just see what computers are here. And I'm doing this in my car. And I see the computers, connect to the C drive, see records. I'm like, all right. First thing when I walk in the door, I tell them, I don't want to scare you here, but your wireless network is totally unsecure. You don't have security access. Anyone just driving by the neighborhood can connect to your computers and see everything.
but I think that was the greatest experience you could give them.
Oh, it was.
You know, the greatest bit of information you can give them.
It totally was, and they understood.
It scared the mess out of them.
Yes, it did.
You know, and then from that point on, it's you would hope after you help them change their passwords that they might have changed it again so that you wouldn't know.
So I wouldn't even. So I have no idea. They put security in place. I checked the next time I came through.
Gotcha.
Couldn't just connect in. I'm like, all right, fine.
It's good,
and that was good. But yeah, people just you have to realize enable security, which just about all of the manufacturers now make mandatory. Thank goodness. But change your default password. You have to do that.
You have to. The one thing that John was talking about with Wi-Fi, I like, and he really didn't go in depth on it, was the point system. And I think that's what needs to be implemented, because you need to take it a step further than, okay, Johnny or Billy, you're going to log into the Wi-Fi and we're going to give you two hours or 2.5 hours.
Right.
I think there should be something tied to it, like a merit system.
Right, and that's what it sounds like he wants to do, or it's going to make available a merit system, and plus I would say along the same lines a demerit system.
Yes.
Oh, you failed a class where you only get an hour a week,
or
an hour a day for the next 2 weeks until you get your grades back
Totally. I agree with that. So really interested to see how that product works out, because, we've tested all different types, the Circle and this product and that product, but you're really looking into, number one, a product that can kind of tangle with cellular networks.
Right, that's a big piece.
And then number two, something like you said that you can build upon, like a merit system.
Right.
So that it gives the maybe there's a login or there's a GUI where the child can see, oh, I've earned this amount of time.
Right, based upon my login, or even based upon my device.
Right.
I mean, this, right now, from what John's putting together for all those, and I would guess, I have no reason, I've never read anything that says this, but I would guess that most of the parents that get that first iPad, Google Fire or Amazon Fire or whatever mobile device for around the house, it's the Wi-Fi only version. So this is going to cover that right off the bat. You don't have to worry about the cellular aspect as much. But like we were saying, once they get a phone, it's a whole new ball game.
It really is.
And
it really is, and it's scary.
Kids are getting phones earlier, younger and younger. Before you used to think, oh, getting a kid a phone before the age of like 11 was crazy. But now, I mean, they're in sports all the time. They're running around. You need to be in contact with them. You want to be in contact with them. And, it is just the most convenient way to do so. So you get them a phone when they're younger. But you have to be able to monitor.
Yeah, you got to be able to monitor. You got to be able to control it.
Yep.
You just can't, like Dr. Michelle would tell us, my sons have, phones. Well, her sons are a little bit older than my son.
Right.
And the first thing I told her was, no.
Right.
He's not ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's going to be so locked down that he's going to not like it.
He's going to be able to call 2 numbers.
Right.
Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
And 911.
Because you do this.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the kids are out there and they're texting and they're sending messages that might not be appropriate.
Right.
The next thing you know, you have some parent calling you
or even worse, they may not be sending it, but you hear so many times when things happen in school districts and school areas where someone else sees or captures a picture and then they forward it to someone else and they forward it and your child may be truly an innocent recipient of something.
Right.
But here it is, and they're getting this, and it's inappropriate, and they shouldn't have it, and then that also gets them involved in whatever the event is, and they really, truly maybe have nothing to do with it.
So, like, once a year, they usually do it at the local church, and I do an online seminar for the kids that, either in the local village or that belong to the the youth in the church, and you talk to them about bullying.
Okay.
You talk to them about cyberbullying.
Okay.
You talk to them, because a lot of them don't really get it.
Right.
Because you're sitting there and you're saying, you're holding up a phone. Who has one of these? Mm-hmm. Everyone in the room.
Every hand goes up. Right.
Goes up, and I'm sitting here saying, okay, you're 7 or 8 years old. What are you doing with a phone?
not the question for them. That's the question for their parents.
That's the question for their parents.
What are you doing giving your child
And
this open access to the world?
The next level of this seminar that I was going to do was, and you know what? I was standing next to the person today who had put it together, who usually has me come in, and I talk with them about 30 to 45 minutes.
Right.
She wanted to do something for me to do something with the parents.
Yeah, that's who needs it.
Because my question is, what are you doing giving these kids this device?
Right.
And then next thing you know, you find out how to pull up the history, and you're like, oh my God, they were looking at this.
Because all you need is one kid to say, oh yeah, have you ever been to www.pickasite.com?
Right.
And off it goes.
Right.
And you have no control, and you don't know.
As we segue, I mean, that was a great session,
yes,
a great segment. This is Late Night Parents with Rich and Ted. Question, Rich.
Yes, sir.
Are you one of those people that feel a certain level of stress during the holiday?
I'll say minimal. I mean, you always have it's always the money thing. It's like, all right, can I buy the things I want to buy to give to who I want to give it to?
Okay.
But I don't really get stressed out about it. It's like, this is the reality, and that's not the important thing about the holidays anyway.
Right.
So that's why, again, I don't get super stressed out about it. So no, I'll say no.
Okay, good. Because I was going to build on to that and say, do you find yourself to be the type of person to be out there for that Black Friday sale?
Nope.
4:00 in the morning, and you're sitting out there. There's 10 4K TVs that are 55 inches that are going for $199. $179.
And it was a 55-inch this Black Friday.
55.
I wasn't there. I didn't go.
I stand corrected. And I thought, I was out in Suffolk County.
We saw the same ad.
And I thought I saw someone that looked like Brian. Standing out there.
Rubbing his hands together in the cold.
In the cold, it was 4:00 in the morning. Store hadn't opened yet.
Thermos of hot chocolate in hand.
8 people online. They gave you your number and walked back inside.
I've got it.
And you're like, oh my goodness. And then, every year we turn on the TV and we see that bums rush.
Yes.
Whether it's in, Alabama or Virginia, or it was one year, it was in Green Acres Mall in New York.
Yes.
Long Island, New York, where people are just running over people. And then I kind of get caught up because I saw someone shared a video of there are 4 people fighting over like a toy car, like a life-size toy car for their son. It was like 4 grown men fighting over it.
But this happens every year. It's typical. It's a caricature almost.
It is.
That somewhere someone's going to get into this silly argument over, like you say, back in the day it was all the parents fighting over the Cabbage Patch, right?
Right.
And it was the Tickle Me Elmos.
Yes.
And this year it's whatever that. I mean, every year this happens.
But I gotta ask you a question. When did this Black Friday stuff start? Like, when did the actual craziness start?
I want to say, I can remember it being crazy like this like 20 years ago.
Okay.
Again, it was the Cabbage Patch.
But was it really crazy like this? Like when maybe I'm just stuck and pulling up a web browser and you're just seeing a local town and people just running over people.
You know what the difference is?
What?
Now you can just pull up a web browser and see a local town. It was happening. You just didn't know about it. It was the local news. The world didn't need to know about it, but now we do.
So what are we missing that the other people are getting? Because the both of us know that Cyber Monday sales are even better than the Black Friday sales.
And they'll even tell you to wait on those because the Christmas sales will be sometimes even better than the Cyber Monday sales.
So,
well, you know what I've come to learn? Some people enjoy the process.
Okay.
A lot of people, my sons, they like getting out there. They'll say, all right, I want to get this one thing, and I'll be out there at 4:00 in the morning to get on that line, go get it, get that thing, come home, get back into bed.
Okay.
If because you do get some really, really good deals. Let's face it, there are some great advertised deals, and if you can be that person, one of those first 10 people in the store for that device, You'll get a 55-inch TV for $179. You know,
Okay.
some people enjoy it, and then others just. I think some people also lose sight of the whole purpose. Or they may get caught up in it. Well, I really want to get this for so and so, and this guy's grabbing it at the same time, and I want it, and they want it, and then they get into the silly fight.
But there are the people that are like us.
Yes,
That will sit there in front of a web browser
and click.
and click because Amazon does 43% of all online sales.
Right.
So if I can get this product in 2 days
Great. For free delivery
for free delivery
in 2 days
in 2 days
for about the best price.
for about the best comparative price.
Comparative price, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then why in the world would I go stand out there?
Because you enjoy
the thrill,
it. The thrill,
the
yeah.
rush.
That's probably you're probably onto something there. The whole thrill of the purchase and the getting the deal, and
Really?
there's Shopaholics Anonymous. It is a
I'm with you.
that could all be part of it. And I mean, in some way, I could see it being fun if you're into that kind of fun. You want to get out there and get the deals in the morning. And
I think that gives you a certain level of stress
I would say the same thing.
because you're sitting there and it's 35 degrees,
Right.
and you're standing out there, or you're
Right.
sitting out there in your you have a chair out
You
there.
got a chair and a sleeping blanket.
So are the same people that sit out there and wait for the newest iPhone the same bunch of people that sit out there for
That's
Black Friday?
A good question. And I would bet you probably, Apple folks are different.
They are.
Let the hate mail start coming in.
Yeah.
But I would say, that's probably along the same vein of folks. But then again, also, I mean, and this is going to be a throwback to old school tech days. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
We're going way back now. We're going back to 95.
Okay.
Like Windows 95.
Okay.
The craziness when that was released.
Yes.
Lines at the stores at midnight.
Yes.
I was working at one of those. I was working at Egghead Software back then.
Really?
And so I had to be there at midnight for the release of Office 95 and Windows
Yes,
95.
Windows
and the
95,
lines
yes.
out the door. People waiting. Same thing. Some people just enjoy that whole process. And, but like you said, I would think that it just increases your overall stress around holidays unnecessarily.
So, is it safe to say the people that do the Apple, that will stand out there for the Apple devices, are the same people that will stand out there for the Black Friday devices?
I think so.
And they're the same people that are out there traveling on the highways and byways on Thanksgiving morning,
I guess so.
sitting in hours and hours and hours of traffic.
Right. I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's too much stress for me. I mean, I can't see no purpose in it. I mean, you get a deal, okay, and you feel good about that deal. But like you said a few minutes ago, you can probably get just about the same deal. From
Yeah.
the comforts of your home, in your pajamas, in bed with your iPad.
In your kitchen,
Tapping.
by your fireplace,
Yeah.
hanging out with a little bit of eggnog. Hopefully, it's spiced with something extra.
As long as you're not driving.
As long as you're not driving. But like I said, in your
at home,
pajamas,
in the
at
comforts
home.
of your own home.
I don't know. I'm sure some people that will listen to the podcast version of this, like, these uppity so-and-sos are sitting here talking about this and that. But I don't know. I guess things change, the older we get.
Yeah.
Because I just don't see things the same. Like, when we're commuting during the daytime
Right.
and the train is packed,
Right.
I'm more than likely not to jump on that train. I'll wait for the next one.
And I do the opposite.
Right.
I get there knowing what track the train's going to pull into, to be there when it pulls in so I can get in
and get a seat,
sit down,
Right.
and then close my eyes and you'll see me in an hour.
Correct.
But I on the other token, same thing. If it's really packed, I'm like, no, I will wait.
Yeah, I'll wait.
If I'm late, and get the next one in 20 minutes, whatever it's going to be.
Right.
Whatever.
I don't know. I just think it's the difference in just how you see things.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of business. want to let you know we want to thank our good friends at Verizon Fios. The campaign is coming to an end. But we want to thank them for close to 20 months of support. The Online Mom and others want to thank you guys. Met a lot of great people working with Verizon Fios, and all their products and everything that they offer.
Yeah.
Stand-up group of people.
Good.
The campaign was well. Really enjoyed it, and hoping to work with them again in the future.
And this campaign was what, about a year and a half?
This campaign started for me in March of 16.
Okay. Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. March of 16. So I will be scaling back on some of my cable channels and all the above. And, for some of the people that saw, all those Verizon posts and everything else like that. Yep. But I always put the disclaimer in there for anyone that actually did open up the post.
Right. Hey,
I am being compensated for this,
right. But also to put it out there, everything you said was the truth.
Oh, it was.
The service, the Fios service, and I'm not even a Fios subscriber. I have one of their competitor services. Please note that. But the service is phenomenal.
Oh, it is. It really is.
The advertised speeds, you get what you pay for. There definitely is something to be said for what is basically your own dedicated fiber optic connection for your internet access and the connection that it provides for your TV services.
Definitely. What else? It's the Christmas season. It's the holiday season. Blink our eyes, it's December. And then blink your eyes again,
we're saying Happy New Year 2018.
Yeah. So,
this year...
It flew.
It
flew.
Gone.
Totally flew by. And, and that's good. And that's good. A lot of great things have come this past year. Yep. A lot of, great friendships and all the above. Hey, I wanted to ask you about, did you ever try those glider gloves? How did that work out?
I was going to actually mention those to you today. So
okay.
You're getting ahead of me. This is
okay.
Great minds think alike. So, that really, really cold day we had the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I had the gloves. I had them in my bag since you gave them to me. I was waiting for the right time to put them on. And that day was the day. Put them on. They were a little snug fit.
They weren't they?
They were snug fit,
okay.
So I got to go there. I definitely do like the texturing on the palms and the fingers, so that whatever it is you're holding, which is your phone, that's the purpose of these things. It's not slipping out and going anywhere. Huge plus there. And the being able to use your fingers, the touch screen while you're wearing your gloves, worked no problem. I had no issues with that. I used it with my iPhone, used it with my Samsung device. Both of them, no problem. So, having gloves on, keeping your hands warm, and being able to, hit the buttons, hit the icons, and do everything like you normally would on your phone, a huge plus. So, great product. Again, I do think, neither of us have, you got the big gorilla hands.
Yeah.
My hands aren't quite as big, but the gloves were a little snug fit.
I tried those gloves on, and I spoke with the gentleman.
The glove don't fit.
The glove doesn't fit. I was like, first of all, I am very appreciative of the product, but I couldn't.
You couldn't use it.
Couldn't use it.
Yeah.
It was just a little too snug on my hands. I was just like, okay, this is kind of uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah, no, they were snug on mine, but I could wear them for the time I needed to. I would like to ask them, and maybe the packaging. That's kind of interesting packaging for a glove. Mm-hmm. Ziploc, sealed.
Right.
It's almost like it has something to do with the materials and the manufacturing on them, why they need to be packaged like that.
Might be. I will put you in touch with them.
Yeah, find out, can they get wet, things like that. Does that make a difference?
Yeah, because they I think they need us to do like a little YouTube clip or something.
Oh, yeah,
like that
okay.
For them or something like that. People just kind of send you stuff, and you're just like, okay, what do you want me to actually do with this?
Oh, they're going to have a quick blurb on Late Night Parents.
Right.
It's coming out there.
Right. So, but I will tell you, this is the first go around with the studio in the box. I kind of like it
So
because
we've got the actual feed here.
we got the actual feed, and you can see if it's as you're talking, it's following you.
Yep.
And
Oh, so okay, it's interesting. All right, so how's it know? Now it knows to go over to me and
Right.
zoom in on me.
because what we did is there's an auto find.
Right.
So as I'm talking, is zooming in here or zooming in with you. So kind of instead of getting that videographer,
You mean my camera on the tripod?
right? You actually have something that's switching back and forth
Yep.
and going. So we're going to test it. Like I said, we're going to make sure we have the right peripherals so that we can plug in and be able to hear callers and
Yep.
the people that we're interviewing and everything else like that.
We'll get the audio going next time for sure.
Eventually, we'll get it going. Eventually. Probably as early as tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
If you're thinking what I'm thinking.
I know what you're thinking.
Yes, but I will give a big shout out to MEVO. And I will tweet them out later on to let them know that, okay, I did actually try this out. And, Rich, this was a purchase.
This was I know. This was a purchase.
This was a purchase because everyone's so quick to say, "Oh, you're
There's
hawking these type of goods."
No corporate sponsorship on this in any way, shape, or form.
None at all.
Nope.
None at all. So, and it was a pretty penny. I will say that also.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the quality, looking at the device. I've only seen it now for the last hour.
Right.
So I do like what I've seen though.
Top pieces of camera.
Yep.
Extended battery.
Yep.
Below the stand, and then the other items that come along with it.
Right.
But what you see is what you get right there.
That's simple. I mean, you can have this sitting in a room, and again, once you know you have a good audio input, that's going to be the key to this.
That's the key. That's
good
the key.
audio input. But I'm talking out loud here. I'm wondering if it's picking up the location where it wants to record or wants to focus the video based upon the audio location that it's hearing. And if you have a separate audio input, it's going to lose that.
Possibly.
So that's something we'll have to test and see.
Possibly. I mean, we might get to the point where it's ready to publish and there's nothing. There's no audio at all. It's just like, look at those two idiots.
Back to the camera on the tripod.
And back to the camera on the tripod and back to our good friends at Adorama.
But this will, we already kind of know this will work well for recordings when we don't have someone on the phone.
Perfect.
Like right now, as we're rambling back and forth, I'm sure it's picking it up fine, looking at the lead, looking at the feeds, and the levels, looks like it's good. And, as we go over the locations, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, for the main thing for me with the product was more on the lines of what do I need to do so I can punch it in and get that audio feed.
Yep.
That's the key part right there. And knowing that there's no adapter on the actual device.
How long is the battery supposed to be good for?
The bottom battery is 10 hours.
Oh, wow.
Top with the camera is an hour.
Okay.
So if you knew you're recording an hour show, which is what this show is, plug it, boom, and go.
Okay.
The 10 hour is just whatever.
Right. Well, then it can be sitting there. I mean, especially if you've got a large group of folks, you got a round table and you just leave it sitting there and it can just start picking people for the long length of time.
Oh, yeah.
You got it sitting there. Yeah, that could be nice. Multiple sessions, things like that.
Oh, totally. So we'll see with this. We'll see. And so there was a cybersecurity expert that I wanted to try to get on in advance of Cyber Monday.
Okay.
That did not happen, and that was solely on the me. It's entrepreneur and CEO of Evident IT.
Okay.
Excuse me, Evident ID. Probably have him on next week. It'll be after Cyber Monday, but it'll be during this holiday season where everyone is putting in their credit cards and what to do, and we can learn about point of sale, stuff that you already know about point of sale.
Okay.
And kind of like the different pain points. Like I wanted to talk with the gentleman about really more about the middleware, because whenever we hear about hey, XYZ provider was hacked, who was actually hacked.
Right, where was the hack?
Where was the hacking?
And many times it turns out to be that third party piece.
It's that third party
who left a laptop on a taxi.
Correct.
Or didn't secure something. And,
Correct.
And that's a breach for everyone's information there. So yeah, that'll be good. Plus, like you're saying, we have the major holiday season coming up, so this is just the beginning of it, and there'll be more and more people shopping online. So yeah, having that background knowledge is key and important to keep safe.
It was funny because I know we're getting ready to wrap this up, but where were we yesterday? It was at the hairdresser.
Uh-huh.
I was picking my daughter up. Wife is in the car, and she's on her mobile phone ordering something, and I'm like, stop.
Don't you listen to the show?
Obviously, she doesn't. She's just out there.
On someone's Wi-Fi.
Getting ready to plug in her credit card number. Her account. And I said, please stop. Please.
Hold that thought.
Wait until you get home.
Right.
I said, so tell me. Look at the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I said, read to me what you have up top.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and I was looking for one letter.
Yes.
And I didn't hear it. One letter was S. HTTPS.
That's secured. On an unsecured site? She was about to make a purchase?
Unsecured.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I was done.
I didn't think that was even allowed anymore.
I was done. It was unsecured. I said, listen, does the website look different than what it looked like 15 minutes ago? No. I said, I didn't even look over there.
Right.
It might have been secured. I didn't look, but I was just kind of gave it that look.
Yeah. Well, remember, we've mentioned this a couple of times. When wanting to go to a website, go directly to the store's website. You heard about what happened. I don't want to say it was Macy's. Somebody redirected the Macy's site. So you go to Google, type in Macy's into Google. It didn't direct you to Macy's, not the real Macy's site. It directed you to a false site.
Of course.
Folks, if one of the most important things to do, go all the way into the top in your browser to where you enter in the URL. Don't go to a Google search or any. I'm not picking on Google. Don't go to any search engine to go to your store website. That includes
Bing and Yahoo also.
Bing, Yahoo, Google, Ask. Go directly to the URL and type in www.whatever the name of the store is.com. That's going to save you a lot of potential grief right there.
All right.
Stranger Things, saw the last 5 episodes.
You watched it?
I enjoyed it. Yes.
I haven't.
You haven't seen any of it?
I haven't seen any of season 2.
You must see it. It's good.
Okay.
It's good. It starts off a little slow, then it ramps up by like 3rd, maybe 4th episode.
Better than season 1?
It's almost not fair to compare the two. More action than season 1. Season 1 I thought was good. More action than season 1.
Still the 80s feel?
Yes. Oh yeah, it takes place
Okay.
Months later, maybe a year later, something like that.
Okay. I will definitely check that out. Other than that, I think it's a wrap.
It's about a wrap, and we are one step away from the saga being over.
That will get 2.5 segments.
Everyone, thanks for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.